Hello sticker lovers, welcome back to Shoedog Review. Today we're going to be looking at the Nike Adapt BB, as you can see, and asking ourselves that question: will that be the noise of 2019? Okay, well, before we get into the lacing system in any great depth, I think the most important thing to do is have a look around the shoe, and we'll talk about it while we're at it. Okay, so if you include the Air Mag, this is the third adaptive lace shoe to enter reality. Let's put it that way, and in this case, hit the shops or the e-stores. And okay, it's a little bit cheaper this time, isn't it? $350. It's not quite as bad as $720, which is what the Hyper Adapt 1.0 was. And as for the Air Mag, well, it's still counting, isn't it? It's going up and up and up. It's of course limited supply. But very much like the Star Trek walkie-talkies that possibly inspired the mobile phones that we have today, perhaps that Back to the Future clip, was one of the inspirations for somebody actually trying to make this a reality. But nevertheless, here we are. They exist. I mean, in the end, okay, you can finish that now. All right. So yeah, you don't need a mobile phone to operate it. You can just do it by hand here. Of course, using the app, you can sort of micro adjust it and play around with colors and stuff like that. But it isn't a heavily technology dependent shoe. Actually, it's very, very simple. It's just got a forward and reverse, so it's close and open function, and you can store your memories by pressing the two buttons. So you just press those two when you've got the fit that you like. You can make small adjustments with a touch, so until you get what you want, and then you just store it. So it's actually, you can operate the whole thing without having the app. The app just enhances everything. But yeah, okay, so it's a very simple system in itself. I mean, it's a feat of engineering and sophisticated design to fit it all in together. But if you look inside there, you can see it's a nylon, hard plastic nylon giddy system with like a very, very strong cord that threads through it, that then runs round to the side here and underneath the shoe into the winding chamber, or as they're calling it, the lacing engine. Let's have a look at the lacing engine, shall we? Okay, so it's located underneath this Velcro panel just here. If you could bear with me, fiddling around just for a sec. Okay, so there's two panels, and then underneath, there it is. Well, there's a little layer of foam just to protect it and to keep the surface of this shoe itself, an even surface. And right there, you can see the actual device itself. And if I press this button, you can see it. Simple. Well, it looks simple. It's certainly very tidy, and in that, I think it is quite a feat of engineering to get all this stuff inside this sole, inside that, functioning, commercial, viable, and serious basketball players actually wearing them on court. Jason, Rupert, they've been rocking these things, using them seriously. And that says a lot, doesn't it? It's not just a novelty shoe. And I think by launching a basketball shoe with this lacing system, the EARL, electro-adaptive lacing, reactive lacing, that it's like a serious application or sport to launch the, to be honest. So they're taking a few chances there. I mean, if we just step away from the lacing system itself and analyse the shoe, ask ourselves the question, does it stack up as a basketball shoe? Does it have what it takes? Well, let's start with the sole, because of course traction is very, very important. And I think that, there's no mistake in the fact that it's got a very, very, very good tread. It's a high friction tread, which means, less of the surface making contact than the spaces, and they've got leading edge. So, when people are sort of darting around and switching, they don't fall over. It's got great traction, excellent grip. You've got your swivel point at the front. I'm not quite sure what this butterfly means. People have mentioned it, but I've not heard anyone explain what that's all about. Perhaps you can put a note down below and let me know if you know. Okay, so the actual contact point, the sole, no problem, perfect. I think that's got better traction than the Jordan 11. And then going on to the midsole, well, firm cushioning, yes, indeed, it has got firm cushioning. Even with this underneath, in there, your key contact, your key compression zones are your heel and your forefoot, and those remain as functional as they would be, even without this lacing system inserted. So again, it stacks up. In terms of the, let's say the landscape or the footscape, the heel collar here, you've got incredible, lovely, dense foam. Feels a little bit like memory foam. I don't think it is actually memory foam, but it's got a similar density to that, so it's going to really hold your foot well. So when those laces, the tension on it is incredible. I think it's about 32 pounds, similar to a parachute cord. And so that's locking your foot down, and then you're held back in this cavity at the back here with this great cushioning. And I think that's, provides a superb fit. And in fact, the tongue also features this really, really, really dense foam. It's not just thin stuff like you get in some running shoes. No, this is really serious stuff. Very, very comfortable. So if you do get the chance to get your hands on a pair, you'll feel that and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, simplicity. Well, in terms of cleanliness, it's a very clean upper, isn't it? Very clean indeed. And so, from a point of view of like catching on things when you're darting around, I think that also functions very, very well for a basketball shoe. Yeah, so you've got your support, you've got your cushioning, you've got your grip, and you've got a clean upper. And then you've got a lacing system that's pretty, really tough. So I think, actually it does stack up as a basketball shoe, no problem. And, I'm sure Jason Tatum and Rupert Donjit would agree. Now, looking at how the shoes, looking further into how the shoe's made up, what it's composed of. Coming around the back here, a detail I really, really like is this 3D ridge here. I think, actually, this is for like putting your foot on there so you can lift your foot out and do it hands-free. These are probably the most hands-free shoes ever. And when you're walking out the door, you're on your phone and you just want to chuck on those slip-ons. And now you can chuck these on and, well, you just lean down and press that, don't you? And then tighten up your shoes and off you go. And I think that, when the first iPhone came out, of course, there was a few glitches and it was perceivably quite expensive, although it's got more expensive since. But, the iPhone 2, the iPhone 3, the iPhone 4, we progressively evolved into it, and you've got to start somewhere. And I think actually, the HyperAdapt 1.0 being $720, perhaps that was not, that wasn't a success in inverted commas. But I think this, 350, I think we're getting there. This is actually quite realistic. And if you think how much you do spend on your mobile phone, and, let's face it, if you're into basketball, then, certainly you're going to spend some money on that passion, aren't you? So perhaps these are, a more realistic entry into the market at this point in time. And for sure, it's a stepping stone. They'll get a lot of feedback and they'll make some major improvements and some, there'll be some evolution there and it will become simplified. I don't know, I can't imagine what else will happen, but it's just going to get easier, it's going to get cheaper, it's going to get lighter, and it just will, because that's how it goes. But you have to run these things live. you have to try these things out with the public. You do all your tests, you get as far as you can, you make it work, and then you run. And of course, something's going to crop up that you're going to find out about. I mean, I know we heard about the, what was it, the Android software wasn't working. There was an update, and people got stuck in their shoes or something, or couldn't get them on. I don't know. But as far as I know, when the power out, when it dies, the last thing it does is it opens up, it releases. So that you're not left stuck in your shoes. And let's face it, even if you were, you go and find a way to charge them up, stand on the pad for a little while, and then sort it out, wouldn't you? So I think everything's surmountable. But yeah, this detail here, I love that. Makes that heel 3D equals more hands free. And yeah, what other detail? There's something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, I know. It's this area here. I look at that. It reminds me of like the undermouth of a whale. Something about that. And I don't think it's the first basketball shoe that's been inspired by a whale. I think it was that one that was inspired by the great white. Not the great white shark, the blue whale or something. It was like the black and the white of that. I probably quoted that completely wrong. That's the price for ad lib, isn't it? Okay, well, yeah, so why don't I just cut the crap and get on with talking about the shoe again. So we've talked about the outer veil, shroud, gauze, the nylon, and now let's look at the inside here. Okay, now we've covered the lacy system. Let's have another look, see if I can get a better view of it this time. Can you see that? So coming underneath the veil, we have another mesh here, which they're calling quad fit. And I kind of sniggered when I read that, I laughed. I thought quad fit, oh, it's woven. It's just a posh name for saying a woven fabric that's got sort of two directions. Maybe they stretched that and said it's 4, 1, 2. But you know what? Actually, I have to eat my words, because I looked closely at this mesh, and it actually is 4 directions of weave. There's 4 directions. So this doesn't stretch in any direction. So it really does secure your fit, and it's breathable. So it's breathable to keep your foot cool, which they need, because you need a mesh there, right? So these two combined, it's very breathable there. But you need a mesh that doesn't stretch and give. You need a mesh that holds your feet, and this is a 4-directional weave. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. The hidden secret technology of this shoe, actually, in some respects, I think, is the elegant engineering of how they've managed to fit all these things together. I love how this knitted tongue here, the knitted veil, sorry, keeps going here, over and then into the tongue, just to keep the tongue organised and in place. It's simple, visual, and effective. And it's things like that I really, really like. So I think it's just clever, simple, and they do a job. Now, okay, looking at the front here, you've got the embroidery on top of the heavy knit. And I do want to ask a question here, because I've seen those dots somewhere else, haven't you? In a sort of like descending scale of dots on the back of the Easy 700. The version 1, it's got 2 rows of 4 dots. I'm wondering if it's some kind of secret emblem of some kind. I mean, why would Nike and Adidas both have the same logo? Good question. I have no idea, but there it is. Okay, now we'll do the 3M in a sec, but then whizzing round to the medial side, it's very, very clean, very plain. And I can imagine the graphics for the early illustrations. It's just very simple, very functional. A little bit fear of gaudy sort of simplicity about it too, actually. And I like that, because in the end, it's just a very, very, very beautiful object. Let's have a look at the 3M. And looking at the 3M, very simple, very powerful. And yeah, of course, you can, where the bottom of the swoosh turns black here. Okay, I might have done that other swoosh in 3M as well, just so you could see it as well. But hey, That's my opinion. These 4 dots at the back, I've heard mixed reviews about those. People saying they don't like them. And I've got to say, in a way, it kind of makes the swoosh look a bit cute and a bit fat here, doesn't it? But it's certainly nice around the back there. Oops, what happened there? Okay, put these all together. So nothing around the back. Don't forget, these are on court. These are not running shoes, and these are not night running shoes. So they don't have that purpose or need, you know. And actually on the court, that's just a little bit of a bonus because, you know, to be honest, it's a bit of a distraction, and it's not something you need on a basketball court. But they do know these will be worn for streetwear too. So obviously, you know, there's a crossover there, isn't there? Okay, so that's the 3M done. Now let's just have a quick wrap up with all the other details. Okay, inside the shoes, lovely footbeds, left and right, very colourful. This detail denoting the colour changes that you can achieve on the buttons here. Inside the box, get a lovely silver bag with your power charger, power brick, and your cable, and inside the box, the bottom, the instruction manual. Very, very simple actually, frighteningly simple. 2 pages, the rest is just bump. It's just this bit. I've taken some photos so you can have a look at those. Okay, and so that comes in the box. I'm kind of doing the reverse boxing thing again because I find it a bit tedious when you're doing the unboxing and whatever. So that comes like that, nice, like a platform, like a plinth, a throne for your shoes. And these guys sat on top. And then this box with amazing sort of foam-filled interior there. Beautiful. Drops on top. And that, is it going to work? Oh, I've got them round the wrong way, that's why. Come round here then. Okay. Right. And then this drops on top. Like so. Not even enough room to fit it on camera. Is that so bloody big? Sorry about that, guys. I've got a very limited, challenging studio space here. Things will change and things will get better. Thanks for supporting me and following my videos. Do appreciate it. And yeah, just to finish off, inside the shoes, I think these are pretty good actually. Nice shoe trees, black, shiny, with a bit that goes in the back too. So, okay, now just put that inside the shoe. Okay, so you've got your front shoe tree and then the back shoe tree. Lovely. Nice, tidy. And I must admit, I think, in a way, there's not too many bits with this package. It's just what you need, you know. It's not like an oversell, and it's not, you know. I know the box is a bit crazy, but, you know, apart from that, I was surprised how few bits you get, you know. You don't really need too much, I suppose. I mean, the pad, of course you need to charge up the thing, you just want to sit it on top. Yes, you can use that to charge up your mobile phones, and yes, you can use your power bank to actually power the pad, so you don't have to be, you could go on a picnic and charge up your basketball shoes if you wanted. Some quick stats. Yeah, so it's the lace takes 32 pounds of weight, like a parachute. And there's another important, okay, if you charge these things up, right, somebody's done a road or field test, they've been out, and after 7 days or 10 days, it was still 70% charged, because it doesn't use a lot of power. Once it's laced up, it's on your foot, you know, that's it. All you need to do is unlace it again. And if it does short out, if it does run out of power, then it just opens up the laces so that you can get your foot out. So that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? There's another statistic that I've forgotten. Oh, I know. The weight. Now, people think these things are going to be heavy. Funnily enough, they're not. 170 grams it's coming in at. And that actually isn't heavy at all. And I do feel very, very light. So I think they're just right, actually. I think they're just right, but then I'm not a basketball player, so what do I know? Now, of course, the next thing is, are they going to be able to replicate this will they be able to replicate this? Of course, the answer is, of course they will. In a way, I think the actual shoe itself, yes, the feat of engineering to do it, but once it's been done, to reproduce it probably be a lot easier. And in terms of electronics, well, they make iPhones here, don't they? So I think they'll have no problem with that. So we'll have to keep an eye out for those reps, and I hope they do get a few details wrong so we don't get caught out. Right, there you go. That's my review of the Nike Adapt BB. Cheers, guys. See you next time.